Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rounding the Bases podcast. If you're looking at your screen tonight, you see a few more faces on here. I'm Coach Coons, and along with Coach Porter, we head up the Head and Account Recruiting website and business. We have Zach Cart back with us by popular demand again, who does some training and travel team work. And tonight we are extremely honored. We had him a while ago, and now he's back. Billy Pinkerton, former player at Cal State Fullerton, former player at USC. He is the guru of meditation and relaxation now. And we're going to get into a little bit about what Billy does and how he might be able to help you, because we all know baseball and softball are such a mental sport that the sooner you can forget and relax, the better you're going to be the next at bat or that next ball that's hit to you and things like that. But to start it off, what an exciting 2 days the baseball draft has been. And I'll just throw this out there. Everybody wants to play for the Tennessees, the Vanderbilts, the Floridas, the Florida States, and this and that. I'll tell you, if you were a high school shortstop on day one, you were probably in the money. And the mid-majors, I can speak mid-majors. Let's just take the A-Sun Conference for a second. Stetson had 4 guys drafted. Austin Peay had a guy drafted. Florida Gulf Coast had a guy drafted. There were some Division IIIs that had guys drafted. So, guys, what do you think about this? Nothing. Okay, good. Chad, what's your take?
Player evaluation to me has always been something of great interest, and looking through that crystal ball to see how a kid is going to look in X amount of years is fascinating to me. What scouts do, what these old timers do and have done for 100 years is fascinating. So draft day is always a kind of the wrap up to this process for all these guys. And I don't know that the common person understands all that goes into the evaluation process for a scout and everything that's taken into consideration. And if you get on X or Twitter or whatever it is, or TikTok, and you look at some of these scouting videos of big leaguers past and present when they were in high school or college, some of them don't look like big leaguers at that point. Derek Jeter certainly did not look like somebody that was headed to the big leagues. You can look at, I've seen videos of Mike Piazza. I've seen videos of all kinds of players, right? And it's fascinating to me what a really good scout can do and project and to use that crystal ball and look at all the things. So I'm not sure that the common person understands what these scouts do, what these area guys do to evaluate kids and identify kids, and what these cross checkers do and the decisions that have to be made. I think a lot of player evaluation right now, people think it's just like the recruiting process where some guy looks at somebody's exit velo and is like, well, it's,
Right.
You can do this and this. There's so much more to it, right? That's part of it, right? But there's so much, more to it. And if you look at all these guys that have gotten drafted, if you take a look at their profiles on MLB.com or whatever, you can see the scouting reports on them and where they landed on the 20 to 80 scale and scouts notes and stuff like that. That kind of stuff's fascinating to me. And, like I said, a lot of people don't see all that go into that, on draft day. And,
Right.
As a coach, I've been on the other end of the phone when an organization called and said, we're going to draft your guy, get to a computer or call his dad, we need help or whatever. And it's a really, really exciting thing. So this is always a fun time for me.
And I'm sure it's all changed. I mean, what would intrigue me the most, Zach and Billy, and you can chime in here too. Corona High School. They had one of their pitchers go pick number 8, and your other pitcher go pick number 10. How would you like to be that high school coach? I mean, tell me about it. You think they had a good team?
How would you like to be the opposing high school?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. Billy,
Yeah.
you were recruited. How has it all changed since back in your day? And you're not that far removed, believe me. I mean, you're
Yeah, it's
not as far removed as I am or Chad like that. I mean,
right.
you know,
Well, I was playing back in, 2006, 7, 8, and 9 in college. So, a lot has changed, man. We didn't, I mean, there were analytics and stuff, but not like they have today. And I remember being with USC and Tom House, and he was our pitching coach at the time. And he was on some cutting edge stuff when it came to, looking at these analytics and the biomechanics that the body needs to go through in order to get fully maximized from a pitching perspective. So he was kind of on the newer cutting edge with that. But when it comes to being like drafted and being recruited, these coaches, kind of what was Chad was saying, man, they're looking at specific things. And yeah, they have all the regular stuff that they look at, but then they're looking at the players' attitudes. They're looking at how these guys carry themselves. They're looking at all these other factors that are now coming into play. And they've always been there, but I think more and more these days, scouts are looking at more than just the numbers of the player. They're looking at all the small details on how you carry yourself. So it's interesting to watch and to be a small part of it.
oh yeah, and Zach, we talked about that the other podcast, the intangibles. What goes along with that, and you see that every day. Training kids, I'm sure.
100%, Tom. And so I'll give you a story from this weekend. We were in the Nashville area. My son was playing, and on Sunday we got the opportunity to play at Belmont. And so we come in, and there's a 17U game in front of us, and this kid, I mean, it just sounds different coming off the bat. And so, I mean, he hits a bomb and then shoots one up the middle. Great exit velo. You can hear it, right? And so I'm being dad, and I'm in the outfield, and so that coach came walking by after the game, and I said, "Hey, man, number, I won't say the number, but that kid, he could be really special." And he's like, "Yeah," he's like, he went to a camp at Vanderbilt and did the same thing, smashed a ball out of the park. He said he's playing left field. The strength and conditioning coach opens the gate and is talking to him, while his defensive set's going on. And he said the very next inning, he goes in and strikes out and throws his helmet in the dugout. And he's like, Vandy didn't want anything to do after that with him. I said, well, it's a pretty good message.
Oh yeah, that's the part of it, and that leads us right into what we brought Billy on for here is that mental aspect, that calming. How do baseball? Let's face it, baseball's a game of failure. You fail 7 out of 10 times, you're in the Hall of Fame. So how do you eliminate that drop ball, that error in the outfield, the error in the infield, striking out 3 times in a game and bounce back? And Billy, you've been at that area, and now you've taken your career and devoted it to relaxation and techniques to help and trying to push it into sports, which I think is a great area to be in. But why don't you explain what you do now and how it could help, how it helps you and others, but how it also could be beneficial for a baseball or a softball player who is going out there day after day after day and doesn't have that time to really regress and let it go.
Right. Totally. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is just like getting in the zone, right? We all know that feeling when we're in the sweet spot. And if we can like kind of observe ourselves when we're in this sweet spot, what I think most people would say is the mind is very still. There aren't a lot of thoughts going on. I wasn't thinking. Like there's a classic baseball like, quote, like if you're thinking, like you're not playing the game. So these practices that I've learned over the years after my baseball career, it started like light bulbs started to go off, man. I'm like, man, this stuff could be useful. And there's no escape. There's no getting away from the errors. There's no getting away from the frustration. And there's all we can do is like handle our reactions to it, right? Something happens, how we going to react? And they say at Cal State Fullerton, Ken Ravizza, the late great, was our mindset coach and our psychologist, and we would have a toilet and he would just like flush it down the toilet, and I was like, yeah dude, like boom, get rid of it. So um really really great stuff. But I think in particular what can help it go a little bit further is really using the breath in these moments and really being able to focus on our breathing while we're playing the game. So it's all about practice too, right? Baseball is a game of repetition. We have to practice. And if we can practice these kind of techniques when we're just doing our practice, when we're in the classroom, when we're going for a walk, whatever it is, we can find moments where we can just take a moment and work on bringing our focus to the breath. It takes discipline. It takes willpower. It takes a keen mind to be able to like, no, for these next 5 breaths, I'm going to bring it right here, and I'm not going to get distracted. Because what distracts us in a baseball game? Usually our thoughts. It's our own stuff that's going on. So if we can start to quiet that down, I think we got a much better chance at performing at our best potential and at a consistent level, right? So that's the whole point, is do these practices when we're practicing, use these tools of breathing techniques to keep the mind clear and calm so that we can perform at our best, right?
And what got you? Give us an example of something, Billy. 'Cause we know this is a business that you have, and you're trying to incorporate it, and obviously it's working for you and your clients that you're working with. Just give us a tickler out there of how it works.
Right. Okay. So just like, all right, you're stepping up to the plate. You get the sign from the coach. You take a survey. You know what you're supposed to do on the field. So you have the game plan. Perfect. All right. Now's the time to like quiet the whole situation down in between the ears. Right. So now we bring our focus. We don't just take a breath. That's just like step one. Like, great, take a breath. No, bring your focus, bring your mental power to the breath and allow it to like really come in. So you just pause. All right, not distracted. Step into the box. Then you stay with that breath, just a nice, easy breathing. And you can, another trick that I learned is counting. You can step into the box and you can count real slow. 1, 2, and while you're breathing, the whole body starts to relax, and now you're in the zone, man. You're not going to be thinking. You're going to see the pitch, you're going to know what to do because you got the sign, and then you perform. So that's just one example. You can use the same thing for pitchers, right? You get the sign from the batter, you have the process, you get the sign, you lock in, you pause, and it doesn't need to be this big breath. It's all in the mind. You can just feel it. Just breathe in through your nose into the belly, settle yourself, and then bam, go right into it. So it's all about not getting lost in the moment because it's emotions, right? And great, Shohei Ohtani had an at bat where he got plunked 3-0, like fastball, clearly was intentional. And you know what, he just walked to first base and was like, no guys, like we're not going to get upset about this, like we're moving on, man. So I thought that was like, that guy's doing stuff off the field to like just keep his center.
I think it's a big thing. What was that movie, Kevin Costner, Clear the Mechanism? The
No,
whole
there you
crowd
go.
voice goes away.
For
It's
love of the
classic.
game.
Love of the
That's
game,
it.
right?
Yeah.
That's what they're trying.
Yeah, I got a question for you. So Ken Ravizza, I'm glad you brought him up because we like in our program for years I've been showing like one of the first team meetings every year. I show this ESPN E60 video with Ken Ravizza and
Mhm.
I'm just drawing a blank here. I do it every year. Who am I? Evan Longoria. And you can
Okay.
YouTube it. You can YouTube it. And it talks about all that stuff. So, what are some things? Because we always use his little sayings, like it's 100% of everything that you have to give today, or excuse my language, what he would say, have a great shitty day.
Yeah.
That was one of them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he could go on and on and on. But so doing what you do now, is there anything you took from him and what you learned from the psychological part of the game and have incorporated into your own business now?
Yeah, sure. So one thing stands out, and man, I remember being on the field or be walking through campus, and you'd see Ken, and he would always say hi to you, and what's going on, and so he was all about it, man. He was in it for the players, and it was great having him around. But no matter what we said, if it was like, man, Ken, like I'm playing like shit right now, man, and I am just like I can't get it together. Like it's just like one thing after another. The coaches are on me, and it's just like, oh man, I just like he'd be like, great. He'd be like, great, you got a great opportunity. Like, all good, man. Like, we're gonna turn this thing around. And he would just like be so positive. And it was that like how he carried himself, what I took away most of this, like no situation was too big for you. And no, the failure wasn't a thing. It was just like that is the lesson to learn. So the quicker you can learn it, the better we can move on, and the better the team could be. And that's another big thing. It's always about the team. The quicker we can get over ourselves and whatever it was, good or bad, that we did, like always coming back to the team. So, yeah, man, he had some good ones in Omaha. He would walk us through meditations. We'd get together at night, and we'd turn off the lights in the conference room, and then he would walk us through a meditation, a visualization. So we would really start like seeing ourselves succeed. We would feel it, and he would just walk us through this whole story of, a visualization meditation of succeeding and executing the small things, whatever our role was. At that point, we all knew our roles, and it was all about executing and knowing what your role was, and being there for the team, and being ready, man, because I was a guy that got called off the bench too. So that was a good thing. So yeah. Hopefully that gives you a few, Chad. But appreciate it, man. Yeah.
This would be
So awesome.
I was gonna say, Zach, this would be great for your age kids. The group you're working with, because if they get it at that level and then come up through with it, we wouldn't have the blow ups and everything where the people get mad at themselves.
Well, and there's two elements to that, Tom. One is the kid itself, and the other is coaching the parent on how to coach the kid, right? Because you're with that kid, let's say 12U, anything under 12, and you're saying, okay, we're going to be with that kid 3 or 4 hours a week at most, maybe a little bit more,
Right?
but providing that parent with that additional intel and saying, okay, this is how we manage those situations, and this is how we approach that, bring them back to center. I always use ABC, always be cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, quiet your mind, ABC, always be cool, and try to just simplify it for that younger age, right?
I think it's a great idea. And Billy and Chad will attest to this. This is why we brought Billy on with us tonight. Billy's a great friend with Chad and I. I mean, we've met and just clicked here with this. And Billy, is this a specific design thing for a group, or do you have to do this on an individual basis where Jimmy might need this technique, but Joey over here might not? He might need it this. How does that work?
Yeah, so you can always go deeper and personalize and customize these things. But generally speaking, every athlete would benefit from just a general breathwork meditation practice, because it's working the muscle of coming back to focus. of recognizing I'm getting lost. I'm thinking, I'm feeling all this stuff. I'm going. Like, okay, how, like, we got to be able to have a tool to bring it back. And again, just taking the breath, but actually like really bringing the focus to the breath. So sometimes we gotta, like, we gotta breathe in specific ways to shift our state, and that's where these techniques can come in more so. So it does start off like general, you get the drift, you learn the skill and you work the muscle just like anything else. It's a muscle. You get used to coming back to your center, you get used to coming back to focus, coming back to the ball. And then over time it just gets more and more consistent, like you'll see the big leaguers do. So that goes kind of generally speaking, and then yeah, people that want to take it further, we get to know each other more. Then we really start to dial in this practice, including visualization, including all sorts of different techniques to get us in the zone, right?
And this will even help you as a person, as a student,
Oh, yeah.
as
All
whatever,
right. Well, ball's the game of life, So ground one, I'm a baseball player, Like this is the game that taught me life. I played with my brother, and like all we did was play baseball. So this was like the start of it, man. And it is a mental game. So the more mental tools we have to play this game, I think the better performance we're gonna have on the field.
How do you talk about incorporating the yoga piece into it? That's something we haven't hit on, because so when I coached in college, I haven't done a good job of it with my high school kids, but we would do yoga. We would literally do yoga a few days a week as a team. And all I did was I found a YouTube video, yoga for baseball. And we literally did yoga with guys. And I'm telling you right now, almost every time guys would leave, and I just kind of take a quick poll. How do you feel before? How do you feel after? Great. I feel so much better after we did the yoga. And it was and we would use, I would just, YouTube a yoga video,
Yeah.
turn the lights
Yeah.
on,
Just right.
just quiet. And you could see guys like buy into it and take it seriously. I mean, we would do it in a hotel. We would do it probably more with our pitchers than anyone else, but it's for everybody.
And it truly works, because my son, when he was in high school, one of the moms was a yoga instructor. And when they went to Florida to play spring time, they'd be out in the parking lot, yoga before the games, before they got on the bus and went to the field. And it was amazing, the results. Amazing.
It's a preventative, it's preventative. So it will keep the body limber. You keep working out, you keep lifting weights, and you add a efficient yoga routine into it. These are like, I'm seeing more and more, these are just necessary tools, man. As I believe it and experience it, like it is just necessary to do these things. And I really think that, the top athletes are doing all these things. They're working out in different ways than how I worked out, pumping iron and getting big and strong, we had some other techniques too, but, I think now it's changing more and more. So, really treating the body for the awesome, thing that it is, right? And really trying to maximize the potential of it. And I'll tell you, like, in all honesty, I feel like sometimes like I didn't reach the full potential of my athleticism. I'm like, dang, at times I really felt like I never was able to fully connect it. And I think the missing part was these practices to build these connections so we're more athletic.
You must be going through, if I only knew then what I know now, right?
Yeah, to a point, it's like, dang, but it's all part of it, because now it's just like part of the road. Now I have a passion to like share it with people that like it can really help out with. So it's like, it's a good deal.
Well, we're going to take we're going to take and put Billy on our his program contact info on our site. Obviously, through Head Account Recruiting, we are a full benefit package to help athletes succeed, to get to schools, to get choices. This just adds one more thing. Billy, we'll put put your email and like that on there, but
Cool.
why don't you just let people know what that is now? They can contact you directly through email and set something up if they want to, or get a video or something like that, because I know you're going to start doing things like that now.
Yeah.
And how do people get a hold of you right now?
Yeah, so the best way, I mean, you can go to the website. You guys are like this. The name of the website is called deepspace-yoga.com. So deepspace-yoga.com. And that's where we go. We take practice of office, stillness, also productivity, creativity. So it's not all about relaxation. It's really optimizing our capabilities and potential and using it. Yeah, my email, you can email me at Billy Pinkerton 3612@gmail.com. That's Billy Pinkerton 3612@gmail.com, and we'll put it up here too. So yeah, appreciate that, Tom. And yeah, I like to work with all sorts of different folks. It's a great thing, man. So yeah, man. Thank you, Tom.
I just think it's something that a lot of people aren't pushing out there, and it's one of those things. If you had to probably tell 8 out of 10 people, oh, that's that voodoo stuff. No. But you know what? In the end, it really does. It's like a chiropractor, right? People, oh, that's just a quick. This is real stuff. And if you go up there and be 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 at bat, instead of the 2 out of 10, because your body's relaxed or your ERA comes down a couple points because you're relaxed, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, this stuff works. This stuff, it 100% works. But like anything else, you have to, just like any skill in the game, you have to commit to it. For it to work, it works. You have to commit to it.
You have to take the time to do it. It's just like a job. It's just like your dinner. It's just like this. I don't feel like working out tonight. That's your call, but you've got a slot for that. Oh, I don't want to worry about the breathing tonight. Well, 1 time becomes 2 times, becomes 5 times, and now you're starting over every other week, trying to get caught back up. Allocate yourself. And that's what we do with this business, the Head and Account. We show you how to manage that so that when these calls come in and you're set up to go look at schools, you're not overwhelmed with stuff, or you're not prepared with stuff. That's why Zach has the facility he does, preparing you for that next level. So you're not just going in there blind and 8 guys are hitting the ball over the fence and you're just hitting foul balls down the third baseline and things like that. Is it mandatory? No. Is it a necessity? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But go ahead, guys. In closing, what any questions?
I think this is great, and you will greatly benefit from something like this, and you have to commit to it. And like Billy said, it's another tool in that, in your toolbox to go to, and it'll carry on. It'll carry on into life as well. After the game's over.
Right.
So it's another tool, right? Because it's not it's not whether or not it's going to hit the fan, right? It's going to hit the fan, right? And you have to have something, as Billy would say, to center yourself back, right? And there's a reason why all these major league teams and organizations have mental skills coaches and all these. There's a reason, because it works. And this game is really hard. We've talked about that a lot on here, how hard the game is. And that's what makes it great. So this is another piece to the development that can help you enhance your game and enhance your life in general.
And I'll say this too. This is something that Billy's just not doing this for a hobby. This is his life. He's from California, Billy's sitting in New York right now because he's come all the way across the country to do it over here with groups before he goes back. And Billy, what's your timeline of going back? You don't have one, do you? Because you're helping so many people here.
Yeah, it's been going great. So probably the end of August looks like that'll be it. Yeah, reconnect with some of the centers I work with back in California, but it's been going really good here.
But this is his career. This isn't a hobby. It's not something he just does on the side. This is his life, and passionate about it. That's why we have him on here. You know, we're passionate about what we do, helping kids with schools. We'd like to add this piece to it, and he's passionate about it. And right now, there's not many people out there that are better at doing it. You know, that's the key. And if you're interested in this, or again, talking to Zach, Chad, or myself about recruiting and colleges, aheadindaccountrecruiting.com. We'll have Billy's stuff on there here this week, and you'll be able to contact any of us. And we hope you have fun watching the Home Run Derby tonight, the All-Star game tomorrow night. By the way, tickets, I looked at tickets because I'm only a couple hours from Atlanta. And my son was telling me there's 2 tickets in the outfield between center field and right field. 2 tickets were $1,100. So I'll be watching from the confines of my living room. But any questions, email us. You got Chad. We're going to get Zach on there. We'll have Billy on there. Ask us. We're here to help you. Our clients, we're helping every day. We've got a couple softball players we're helping right now with schools. A couple more baseball players have emailed. So it's starting to grow. You know, even though we don't charge as much as the other guys, people are starting to realize what we do for them is as valuable, if not more, than the other guys. So that's a plus. But Billy, thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Tom. And dude, I gotta say, you and Chad, man, you guys, when I was working the recruiting game, you guys were the 2 best guys to work with as well. I was so happy to work with you guys, and you guys being there was just like made everything better. So, 100%, man. And you guys are really offering something unique and useful and practical for kids going through this stuff. So, thanks to you guys for doing this. And Zach, I just meeting you, but it seems like, man, you're coaching the kids up and doing it the right way. That's what it's about. You know, baseball is not an easy game, and it'll teach us. It is the game of life. I really believe it. So we can learn so much. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Zach.
Well, thank you, Billy. And we'll see you folks again next week where we'll have another topic. But like I say, check out our website. You'll have all that information on there to help you mentally, physically, and how to get into a school, what to do. So next week, thanks for watching.